We're going live. Live. Here we are. Hi and welcome. I hope you can join me today. Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. Listen, I'll do this spiel up top. And that is this. That the planets don't make you do anything because we live in a cooperation with the cosmos. When the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. Come say hello to me. We're going to do some oracle readings today. You get to choose your own reading. And I will even type in the box, hi, come say hello to me. What's your sign? And are you dedicated to becoming a Mojo Mystic? Someone who really is ready to embrace a higher frequency, that vibe that says, yeah, I'm ready to be more. And you can do it without too much struggle. That's why we're going to do, in this Pisces Mercury in retrograde, we're going to talk a little bit more about the retrograde and then the upcoming Venus in retrograde, which is going to be really spectacular for insights. And this particular Mercury in retrograde began on February. When did it begin? I know it goes to March 9th. I'm already getting lost in it. February 16th, but the shadow phase was 2 weeks prior to that. So we've been in it for a little bit of a spin. So are you sleeping well? Are you dreaming? The messages coming in from everywhere is water. Last night I had a dream that I was in an airplane and I jumped out of the plane because the person in front of me jumped out of the plane to land on another plane, which was flying over the water. And I knew I was going to dive into the water. I had no parachute and there was no fear. There was a little like, oh, this is exhilarating. It was like a Universal Studios experience, I guess. And I jumped out of the plane and I was kind of flapping my way and my arms were flying and I'm aiming toward like a rope that was in the water attached to this other tiny plane that was over the water. Anyway, I landed in the water, grabbed onto the rope, and I was like, yeah, what a ride. I don't know. Yeah, splashing in the water. Any kind of water you can be near. Fountains. I have my little aroma mister on right now. Drinking water, bathing in water, showering, swimming, being near the beach, the ocean, tide pools, rain. The water right now is a Pisces element. Pisces is a water sign. And in a Mercury in retrograde, what we're looking to do in a Pisces Mercury in retrograde is really get into that place where the shadows are, where it's nebulous, where it's out of focus. And you can do that very easily when you meditate, when you listen to water or near water after a shower, in a sauna, a steam bath, just to really, it alters the biology and the chemistry, and you get a little bit more in tune with your inner frequencies because you are transmuting. Every cell in your body is surrounded by, with, and in water. So when you want to change something, when you want to heal something, it's important that you drink clean water, that you talk to your water. I have this, the man who made these unfortunately passed away. They're from Geneva, by a healing pool in Geneva, and they're enclosed crystal water. And so I talk to it every day and give it my intention, and so that's the frequency that I'm emitting, which is very cool. And I have a smaller one, but another reader I know said, time to upgrade. Fortunately, I had this one charging in the window. I couldn't wear anything bigger. It would be like wearing, a big crystal ball around my neck. That'd be kind of freaky. So today we're going to do some oracle readings, and you get to pick. Are you going to choose the Astro Dice? Are you going to choose the the Faery Oracle deck by Brian Froud and Jessica Macbeth? Or are you going to choose the secret, I say this every time. I don't know why Elmer Fudd comes out of me. The Secret Language of Light Oracle deck by Denise Jarvie. Secret Oracle deck is number 3. Keep that in mind if you're just joining us. Number 2 would be the Brian Froud Faery deck with Jessica Macbeth, or the Astro Dice. There's 3 of them. So that'll be number 1. Faery Oracle, number 2. Secret Language of Light, number 3. And you're going to choose which pile you want. Aw, keyboard issues. Sorry to hear that. Hey, Kate's here. Hi, Christine. So let me just go over a couple of do's, don'ts for this particular Mercury in retrograde, and then we're going to talk more about the Venus in retrograde upcoming, and then we're going to do the reading, the oracle reading. So, do's in a Mercury in retrograde: any kind of counseling, meditation, inner work, journaling, dream journals, anything, especially in a Pisces retrograde. You want to get into that place that carries, the nebula and the illusion. Illusion. Now, if something is eluding you, you just can't seem to make it. You can't get there, no matter how many crystal balls you look into. You just can't seem to get there. But during a Pisces retrograde, what happens is you bypass your mind, so that you're not so focused on what happened, what did they say, when did it happen, what did it look like, how did I feel. In a Pisces Mercury in retrograde, what you're going to experience more is the sensation, the intuition, the fear, the dread, the doubt, the inspiration, the knowing, the inner knowing. And we're all about raising our vibration. And when you raise your vibration, you alter your bodily chemistry. That's called transmutation. And when you raise your vibration, you stop thinking a certain way that creates a certain outcome, because you're perpetuating the thought, it's never going to happen, I'm never going to get there, they're never going to like me, I'll never make enough money, la la la, all the not enoughs. So let's pick one thing in your life that keeps escaping you. What's the thing you can't seem to get a grip on? Why do I keep attracting the same kind of boss? How come in my relationship, I say this, they say that, we get into an argument? Why do we keep recycling the same? Why do we keep, spinning around the same drain? So I think it's important that with the Pisces energy in play in the retrograde, that you take the time to just a few minutes a day, several times during the day, make it a point to tune in, check in. How do I feel right now? What is that sensation that I keep pushing away because I have to get the laundry done, or I have to get the kids out of school, or I got to get those papers graded, or, I've got 6 more hours on the clock at work. So whatever feeling you're pushing away is what I want you to tune into with conscious intention. All right. And if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Mercury in retrograde. And this retrograde is the precursor, in my experience with Pisces retrogrades, to the upcoming Venus in retrograde in Gemini, coming up in May through June. And a Venus Gemini is going to be overlapping a Mercury in retrograde this June. And when those two things come together, kapow. That sense of lack of self-worth, lack of inner confidence, misunderstanding your own purpose, you bypass the, it's like rewiring the circuitry in your brain and on a spiritual level. So I'm really excited about the readings for Venus in retrograde, because Venus makes a 5-pointed star, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but the 5-pointed star, in fact, wait a minute, hang on. There it is, 5-pointed star. So that when Venus moves toward a conjunction with the sun as it, traverses the universe. It moves in toward the sun, it moves out in a retrograde, moves in and out 5 times in your chart. It shows up in the same exact 5 places throughout your entire life. It is not just oh wow, that's cool. It is. It shows up in the Fibonacci sequences. It shows up in mathematics. It shows up in science. It's the same 5 point. And I don't like to use the word pentagram because it sounds witchy. Ooh, but it is a pentagram, and the 5 points in your chart point to what's the thing, and it's not always a negative thing. Because once you work out that inner issue, then it opens up possibilities to total abundance. And Venus represents beauty, art, protection, finances, relationship to women. So when you look at your life and you say, okay, and the 5-pointed star completes in an 8-year cycle. Takes 8 years, and then it starts over again. So when we look at the Venus 5-pointed star, the Venus star, what we're looking at is a cycle of you moving through your life. You chose to come here to be who you are, and then to move through your life and to get tapped on the shoulder. Hey, remember, you don't think you can make any money. Let's introduce a feminine aspect, because they all surround feminine aspects with the Venus definition. And I've been doing some surveys and asking some people, some clients, friends, and family to let me know about these certain previous Venus in retrograde dates combined with the Mercury in retrograde and what they've experienced. And it's pretty darn amazing. And I'll come up with that on Thursday as I continue to talk about this. Deborah's here, and Brittany. Brittany's going to choose the light deck for number 3. Anyway, so when I am working on these Venus retrograde 5-point stars in your chart, it's a very lengthy pre-process to pinpoint. It's some calculations that I've got to do in your chart to find out what is the biggest issue, and the 5 issues that we keep touching on over and over and over again, and what opens up, what closes for you, and dealing with finances, romance, protection, and that is defense, that is physical health and well-being, healing, and your relationship to women. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You started out in a woman, and that relationship began early. You chose your parents, you gestated, and you took on mom's stuff. Everybody did. The wound. Everybody did. It's just what we do. All right. And then because we choose our parents for the patterns that they have to remind us about the patterns we're here to heal. That's the deal. So Venus is not just, it's all about love and, makeovers. No, it's about finding that original wound that you have to the feminine nature, whether you're a man, woman, or gender non-specific. And so that you can learn how to express that through art and beauty, through finances, through defense, protection, and healing. And that can include the military as well. That's not just a Mars transcript. And your relationship to women and how you can alter this vibration. So I think it's important that you pay attention to the Mercury in retrograde now, because it's a Pisces energy, and the Pisces energy is very liquid, and it brings up the softer emotions like, I can't seem to get a grip. I can't seem to, or it's, I'm so excited. I want to do everything, and you jump into everything, but nothing gets finished, and there's procrastination behind it. So where does all this come from? Well, when we break down images of in the esoteric world, in the metaphysical world, when you break down an image, you come down to literally, it's just a molecule, and it's an energy, and that energy builds and rotates, and when it does, it looks like a spinning healing helix, And when it does, it starts to accumulate. And that accumulation in your consciousness is, this is what I'm about. And then you embody a physical being, and then you say, ouch, that hurt. Well, was what I was about, but I don't know if I can keep going in that direction because life hurts. Breakups and physical illnesses and frustrations and not being. I just remember our child. Oh, let's see. Aaliyah was not even 9 months old. Had a little wagon. And instead of holding onto the handle and pulling it, Aaliyah would bend over sideways and rotate it in a circle. And it would tip over and the frustration was beyond belief. And then I would upright the wagon and there they went again, like back and forth and I was thinking, what is it that they perceive that I'm not seeing? Because I'm an adult and I know a wagon has an arm and a handle and you put something in the wagon and you pull it. But I had to erase all my adult knowledge of wagons and I was looking at the motion and the shape of the motion that my kid was really into and couldn't get something to work. And the crying and the screaming and the frustration and it was like, all right, let's calm down. Here's what we can do. And then we start at step 1. It's the same with all of us. When we're beginning to wake up a little bit more, people can walk around in a suit, have a lot of money, a lot of cachet, but they're not very conscious. And that's not a right or wrong thing. But if your goal is to become a Mojo Mystic and it's to awaken your energy so that you can manifest without too much struggle or effort. Yes, it is possible. And you can vanquish illness and you can see your purpose and illuminate the path with your daily positive intentions, not just, oh yeah, I wish upon a star. No. It can happen in much different ways. So that's why we look at cycles. And the astrologer Signe Quintaf used to, or maybe still does, say that the planets are there to help you plan it. Very cute. Okay, let me tune in. Who's here? Hey, Selena and Sasha. Oh, and I'm going to post a link. Right now, and then we're going to do an oracle reading. So I want you to pick your reading, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So tune in to your most And I'm only doing these Venus in retrograde, cross the Mercury retrograde readings in March and April only. There you go. All right. Now, so if you're just tuning in or if you're watching this in a replay, it doesn't matter because energy knows no boundaries. That's just the world. So, would you like to use the Astro Dice for your oracle reading today? Or would you like to use the Faery oracle cards for your reading today? Brian Froud's Faery oracle cards. If you have an affinity with the fairies. Or would you like to use Denise Jarvie's Secret Language of Light cards? Secret Language of Light. So 1 is the Astro Dice, 2 is the Faery Oracle, and 3 is the Secret Language of Light. Let me just tune in. Hi, come say hello to me if you're just joining us. Elaine Marolakos Edelson here, and we are talking about the Mercury in Pisces retrograde and how you can bring up that shadow and really face a fear without it being too scary by being in, around, or drinking water. and using the water to transmute because it's light. See, there's water in here from Geneva, a spiritual pool in Geneva, and it's encased. And so every day I activate this water by speaking to it: peace, light, love, ascension, awareness. And when I do, it vibrates it around my heart. You can do the same. Whatever you're drinking, any kind of liquid, it doesn't have to be water, you activate it: peace, light, love, ascension. And if you're familiar with Dr. Emoto, who has passed away, you'll note that the images that he took of people speaking to water, he froze the water, sliced it, and looked at it through a microscope, and you can see how negativity and positivity affects the vibration in the water. You're a frequency. So if you want to up your vibe and raise your frequency, start talking to your water. Yeah. Okay. So Selena, hi. Sasha. Selena likes the fairy cards. Lisa's here. Kate. Hi, Kate. World traveler extraordinaire Virgo. Okay, so in about 2 minutes, I'm going to be doing the readings, and I pre-selected. I already rolled the dice for people who chose the first group, and I picked the Oracle Fairy card for people who chose the second group, and the third group is the Secret Language of Light cards. And because if I were to sit here and, rolling dice and flipping cards, it would take a little bit longer. So that's what I did ahead of time. And remember, energy, and you might think, well, if we're not even on the call yet, how do you know what I need? Well, it's not just it's not about me. It's spirit comes in and already can foresee who's going to be choosing the Astro Dice as number 1 oracle reading, or the fairy cards as number 2 fairy oracle reading, or the light cards number 3. So that's how it works. Isn't it pretty fascinating? I'm having phenomenal dreams. Let me tell you, they are epical. Is that a word? And who else is dreaming? Anybody else having some big time dreams? So I want to send out a healing love vibe to Estelle, a fellow reader from England, who is Estelle Cranfield, and she's a wonderful tarot reader and ascension facilitator. And she was recently diagnosed with throat cancer, and so we're sending loving vibes her way, and she's not afraid, and she is not needing negative energy or sympathy. She is just needing light. So if you are so inclined, we'll send Estelle Cranfield some light. Lisa says, I always dream. Write them down, because right now they can really help you to decipher, decode your dreams and your conscious awareness. All right, are we ready? For those who chose the number 1 Astro Dice Oracle reading, I've already rolled the dice prior in a meditation so that we wouldn't take up too much time. So for those who have already chosen the Astro Dice, that's the number 1, you chose number 1 Oracle. The reading for you is all about what's happening. The South Node. What's happening? The South Node. Right now, in astrology, the South Node is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So what's happening is you letting go of the past. If you chose number 1, you're letting go of the past. You're letting go of the structure. And I'm not just talking about yesterday or last week or 6 years ago. I'm talking about a lineage of behavior where you were part of a team or a part of a group or a part of a collective that didn't get their needs met. So it could have been a poverty-stricken past. It could have been an abusive past. It could have been a sickly, ill past. It could have been a monastic or religious past. And so that's what's happening. And how it feels is Capricorn, and it's in Capricorn. So this is pretty profound if you chose number 1, because If you have any Capricorn in your chart, those of you who chose the number 1 oracle, with the South Node in Capricorn right now, this is about a lineage of responsibility that led to denial, that led to you used discipline. You took on a vow and you made a contract to take responsibility for someone else's pain. And so now you're breaking that. And how it shows up in your life is in the area of your chart. It shows up number 12. That is your psychological healing, your physical well-being. That is, it's okay to say no if you chose number 1 oracle. It's okay to let go of the past. It's okay to bless them, release them, and not think of them as, perpetrators, or they did that to me, or it's their fault, or yeah, I took it on for years and years, and what thanks do I get? That's not what it's about. When we're looking at a healing in the South Node in Capricorn, guided by Saturn in the 12th house, what we're looking at is you really going to core. And I mean, utilizing the water energy I'm talking about, talking to the water in your body, forgiving the past, your role in it, any kind of abuse, emotional, physical, on any lifetime thread that is showing up now where you're afraid to have a relationship because, it doesn't work out, or they always hurt me, or in a relationship, you take on the burden, or in a relationship, you withhold emotional self for fear of being too vulnerable. Okay, so this psychological patterning in you right now shows up. It feels restrictive. It feels old. It feels like, I just want to break free. And it makes you literally crazy. It makes you crazy. Every time they do that thing and you feel this way, it's like the frustration and you don't know how to change them. You're not supposed to. Now you just break the ties. You pull the Akka threads from your heart, pull the Akka threads, and you cut the ties and you let them go and let the universe recycle, and then see people in their highest and best, that they did what they did because that's all they could do. And you bless and release them. And think about this, everybody, not just if you chose number 1 oracle, but that every cell in your body is represented by everything in the world. That's right. There's toxicity in your body. There's healing in your body. There's grand movement in your body. There's ascension and awareness in your body. There's high functionality in your body. There's low functionality in your body. There's congestion in your body. There's dehydration. There's constipation. There's transmutation. Okay, so everything in your body reflects everything in the world. So go in. That's what the Pisces and Mercury in retrograde in Pisces is talking about. Really go in and pick that one thing that you can't get a grip on. What is it? And you might say, I don't get it. Why does this keep happening to me? Or why do I keep feeling the same thing? Write about it. Journal. We're in a retrograde. Let it free form. Close your eyes. Use both hands. Think outside the box. And beyond that, honey, there are no boxes. Except the mind that you create around a thought that says, yeah, it has to be that way, or it is that way. Does that make sense? And the positive of this oracle reading with South Node, which is your karmic past, karma, in Capricorn, which is what it's in right now in the heavens. And in the 12th house, it is about your spiritual healing, your physical healing. And it's going to be beautiful because the dreams are going to come to you. 12th house is dream, connection to divinity, and your source of pure conscious love. It is a healing. Okay, I hope that whoever chose the dice for number 1 oracle reading, that this has helped you. Hi, Jen. Jen's here. Jen said, I had a pretty wacky dream last night, which I haven't 100% figured out the meaning of just yet. You could just write down images. And what I find helpful is that I will say to my husband, I had this dream last night. And as I start talking about it, suddenly the meaning comes to me. And then I go, oh, I see why I jumped in the water. And I know why I jumped in the water in my dream last night. Why I jumped out of an airplane and jumped into the water. Like I was free falling. Woo! And I'm not that kind of a person. Okay, if you picked number 2, the Faery Oracle, Brian Froud and Jessica Macbeth, Faery Oracle. I already chose a card for number 2 with Spirit when I did my meditation. And the card is actually so beautiful. I love this, that you got this reading if you chose number 2, the Laum. It's about unconditional love, giving and receiving. I love this. Let me show you the picture. Okay, look at that. Oops, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? This is about keeping tabs on balance. It's about percentages. It's about giving and receiving, and allowing is the bridge that connects the two. So if you picked Oracle reading number 2, it's really important right now that if you find yourself stuck, and I'll show you the image again, if you find yourself stuck in a situation, it's about, see the guy below? He's allowing the fairy to just sit on his head and he's smiling. And it's not a sexual thing by any means. It's we all support one another, and without the support of one another, we cannot get our needs met. So if you find yourself stuck right now, this is all about giving. If you are trying to make a financial investment, or you're thinking about, I don't know what to do with the rest of my life, or I just quit my job, now where do I go? Okay, stop thinking about you, turn it around and give. Give flowers to somebody who's having a crap day. Text someone a funny video or emoji, or go volunteer somewhere, or offer to help somebody out is in a bind. So as you're doing the giving, what's going to happen is you disengage from the, what is it? I can't get it. What's the answer? I've been trying so hard. I can't get it. You disengage from that, and the energy can then come back to you. Okay? It's a very simple reading, and I love this reading. It's all about the coffers, and Jessica Macbeth talks about this by way of saying, if you have something that's not functioning properly in your life, like a piece of machinery, your pen is sticking, or your electric toothbrush isn't working, and if you take the time to disassemble it, great. You're focused on, I want to fix the problem. In a retrograde, you're going to get diverted. And the diversion is where the fairy energy comes in. And that diversion is all about you saying, how can I use my sense of charity to not fix my problem, but yet help someone else, and in the same time build up my coffers. It's kind of like replenishing your karma, right? There's what I have been saying for years and years and years, that with karmic energy, and this would apply to the Laum or the Laumu, I'm not sure exactly, Laume, is do engage 2 good deeds today, but talk about only one of them. And that second one is private. And that's when you see, like an RPG game, right? You build up points. You build up points by not having to tell people, yeah, I gave to that charity. I felt pretty good about that. It's like, okay, well, it's not about you, right? It's about the giving. And it's about, and even in your darkest days, if you're listening to this in a replay, or you're listening to this right now, and you're having a really struggle, you're having a big time struggle with something and you can't seem to get it, you really have to step out of yourself and go do something for someone else. And I don't feel that it requires a clarity card, right? Because it takes very little to give, really. But the receiving that rebounds from this giving now is going to solve more than one of your problems. Okay, does that make sense? I hope that's helped you. Let me tune in. Carla, good morning. Carla, I'm not picking out a card for individual people, but what I'm doing is you get to choose the dice, the Astro Dice. Then there's 3 of them. The Faery Oracle, and that would be the Astro Dice is number 1 reading. You can always come back and listen to this in a replay. The Astro Dice is your Oracle number 1 reading. If you chose Oracle number 2, it is Brian Froud's Faery reading. And the Laum is what came out on the second choice. And the third, if you choose number 3, it is The Secret Language of Light, and by Denise Jarvie. I don't know if you could see that. Okay, that's number 3 reading. I'm not doing individual readings for people. I am doing collective oracle readings. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so if you chose number 3 oracle reading, The Secret Language of Light, the light readings, the card that came out is Insights. Now, this is beautiful. There's a person in the middle of that. I don't know if you can see that. It's so sparkly, right? Look at that. It's beautiful. Insights. This is all about increasing your psychic intuitive awareness. So if you chose reading number 3, definitely use the water in Pisces Mercury in retrograde to help you tune in to those moments that you know something. The phone is going to ring. Going out with so-and-so on Tuesday evening is not going to be in your best interest. And you don't need to know why. It's not a judgment. It's not because they said this or they did that. It's just like, yeah, no, my body says no. So this is about really tuning in, and it's about refining your psychic senses. And I'll tell you, from having created a system called the Bodhi system for your intuitive mastery awareness, it's not that you get it right or wrong. And it's not that it's about, I am psychic or I'm not psychic. Everybody is intuitive. Everyone. That's your sixth sense. You have it. It exists because you are. That is your spirit. That is your spiritual self. And so when you tune into that, now there's clairvoyance. I can see. There's clairaudience, I can hear. There's clairsentience, I can feel. I can smell, I can taste. And when you have the clairs for a visit, as I like to say, bring the clairs over for a visit. What you do is you start to train those senses. Now, I am all 3. Some people are more clairvoyant than they are clairaudient. So they don't hear whispers, they don't hear spirits talking, they don't hear information, they see it. They see images, or they have vivid dreams, or if you picked oracle reading, number 3, the language of light, and insight is your card, then right now you're undergoing a spiritual development with your psychic senses. And nothing is weird. Everything is weird if nothing is weird, right? Everything is weird if nothing is weird, because it's all what it is. And so if you suddenly have a dream that you picked up a red purse and you looked inside and it was empty and you felt upset about it, then when you wake up, you want to write down a red purse. What does it mean to me? What if I were from another planet and I said to you, what's a red purse? And you wrote down your definition. You have your own dictionary in your psyche. You don't need to go to a book, because the book will most likely not tell you what it is. I mean, there are general archetypal definitions in the world. You know, if you dream of a snake, it could mean, 6 different things. Transformation, you have a great fear of something, you've been poisoned, But you want to ask yourself, or pretend that an alien comes to you from another world and says, what's a red purse? What is red? And you might say, it's a color that only, prostitutes wear. Well, there's a judgment and there's a definition right there. Or if you said, it's the brightest color, it makes me so happy when I see it, there's your definition. What's a purse? A purse is something that a woman has, really. Why only a woman? Men throughout centuries have carried purses. So you see, your definitions are going to describe for you and define for you your own dictionary. No judgments. Okay, does that make sense? So when you write your dream down, and as you're becoming more intuitive, or you write your vision down, or you just had an experience, you walked from one moment to the next. I remember some months ago, I had an experience, and I have them all the time, but they're all different, right? So we were on our way to bed to go to read. We read every night, my husband Dean and I. And I just wanted to put a little towel over the stove light. Is really bright. And if our bedroom door is open and I roll over in the middle of the night, it's like blue in the kitchen. It's kind of disconcerting. So I got out of bed and I thought, I just want to put a towel over that. And as I was walking from the bedroom to the dining room to the kitchen, which is not very far, it's a small house, I took a step, and in that step, suddenly I was someone else. I was me. I was the more me I've ever been. I was the me throughout the ages. I was the me that took lifetimes to become. And this was one step. And as my foot was going to the ground, I felt such power, such passion, such healing, such ascension. And then by the time my foot hit the floor, I had no words. It was so profound. And that moment took forever. And I didn't want to leave it. It was maybe the span of half a second, not even a nanosecond, that I took that step. So in that moment, I gleaned more information about my past lives, about my issues at the time, and I just went right back to bed and I started journaling. So you see, moments can happen at any time. So if you picked number 3, The Secret, can you see? The Secret Language of Light, Denise Jarvie, and you got the insight card, then this is your time to really tune in. And clairsentient is feeling, tasting, smelling. Clairaudient is hearing. Clairvoyance is seeing. And you can do it, and this is for anyone really. You can get a deck of cards and tune in, do a little quiet meditation, and your objective is to sense, hear, feel, see what's coming, what's the next card. Now, in most cases, and this is documented, you're not going to get it right. It's not about getting it right, it's how you get it. Does that make sense? Are you hearing it? It's black. You turn it over and the card's red. You're like, I got it wrong. No. How are you getting the information? That's what you want to know. That's the training. Are you hearing it? Do you see it in your mind? Do you get an impression in your body? Do you smell something that makes you think of the color red or black? Okay, that's the exercise. So as you increase your intuitive awareness, you're really going to come to understand that you're at a juncture now, on a crossroads, if you chose number 3 Oracle, and that is to really move into that space of trust. And that's for all the readings. I hope this has helped. Has this helped anyone? Please let me know. Give me a comment. And keep in mind, I'll be back on Thursday. We're going to talk more about the Mercury in retrograde and how you can utilize certain techniques and tactics to help you decipher those dreams, to help you work with water, to help you really up your vibe, right? Because if you're just joining me, and you can go back and listen to the replay, you're a Mojo Mystic, and that is someone who does not apologize for being awake and aware, who is compassionate, can set healthy boundaries, knows how to say no, focuses on their purpose, is filled with passion and the joy of being, okay? So as you move through your days and your hours and your dreams, I want you to just keep that in mind, that you are sparkling, you are effervescent, you are everything that you need to be. And the things that don't feel good, you can start to let go of. Pull those Akka threads, those attachments, cut them away, let the universe recycle. Okay, so when I talk about, and you're welcome, Sasha. Oh, Lisa, yes, great. So when I talk about more of this process and processes for the Venus in retrograde, it's going to take me about an hour to prepare the reading. And then we'll be in the session for about an hour. But prior to that, in an email, I'm going to ask from you, once you sign up for a session, that I'll only be doing in March and April because I go on retreat in May, to download more information and to up my own vibe, and because I turned 60. So what I'm going to ask of you in the email is, what are the, once I look at your chart, what are the 5 main things you would like to focus on? And we'll turn the dial and see if you're coinciding with where you need to be, so that the next 8 years is what this reading covers. 8 years. I didn't know how to, 8. 8 years is what this reading covers. And it's going to help you understand your own cycles and the women that come into your life, and who's the catalyst, and who gives the opportunity, or where you need to really focus on self-worth and healing. So it's very profound reading, and I'm really looking forward to doing it. Venus goes retrograde maybe 18 months, 2 years, but every 8 years it completes a full cycle of a pentagram in your chart. And it brings up the same issues over and over again. And once you complete that cycle, you can move on to the next issue, which can be the opportunity, which can be the blessing, which can be the abundance of any kind of inner beauty, outer beauty, finances, romance, the relationship to women, so that you can turn around and then infuse the world with a more feminine, healing vibe. And we need that, don't we? All right, folks, my lovelies, thank you for being here. Thank you for being. And remember, you're a Mojo Mystic. Come back Thursday. I'll be here at 10 a.m. Arizona Mountain Time, which is 9 Pacific. You can always catch me in a replay. Eventually, we're going to get all my past videos that have not been uploaded to YouTube up to YouTube. But right now, you can catch me on Facebook. All right? Or you can sign up for my Astrology Mojo website newsletter, and I'll see you again. I'll see you on Thursday. Be well. Thank you.